What's going on, YouTube? My name's Doug Jenkins here with iMixandMaster.com. I've been doing videos since 2010, um, actually 2009, man. So thanks to you guys for being patient with me. We're back and we're at it. I'm going to show you a session today. If you look on screen, let's see. So on the screen here, what you're going to see is this was an instrumental sent to me. This is a artist in my area that did vocals to it, and then he did them to the original instrumental. And then a lot of people will send me the instrumental, let me mix it. I'm gonna let you hear what that sounds like real quick. So this is the original. This is the original stems. So I'm just gonna turn it down low here in the studio. Hopefully it's not too loud, but you're gonna hear it, and then I'm gonna play back what I've mixed already, and then at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you some of how we route inserts and how that works. And I have a camera here on my SSL Big Six, show you how we prep this whole session with this board. It's pretty cool, right? So this is what we're gonna do. So you're gonna be able to hear this first. And so I'm gonna unmute all that, mute all this. So here was the original instrumental. Pretty straightforward, lots of parts that you guys would be familiar with if you're a hip hop guy. So let's hear mine. Let's go back. Okay, so that was just prepping a session. So that's not necessarily the mix, but that was all done with this. Okay, so I did that on purpose. Shout out to SSL. They make some of the greatest stuff. I actually, if you see in my rack, but we're not doing that, so I could get a better shot of that. But we have a Fusion running. So with this, so I printed all these tracks. Let me go back to the screen. But if you see at the top here, all these tracks with this color have been printed. So it's a very same concept of this. So what I'm going to do here is show you exactly what I mean. So what I do in this case, this is one way to process audio. This isn't the only way. Actually, in a previous video, I did it the exact opposite. I used my outputs as my routing, then I fed it back to my mastering converter. But sometimes you can do it this way, and I'm doing it this way to show you guys out there that have interfaces with more than, 8 in, 8 out. You can use or utilize your hardware. Or there was a piece that I did a video on from Black Lion. Actually, SSL's just came out with a converter where you can add 8 channels of IO, and then you can incorporate some of this hardware to mix with hardware. And it's just something fun about this, and it sounds better to me. It really does. So here we go. Like, I'm going to solo just these so you can hear what we have. I'm going to mute this as well. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not, because I have the Fusion on this. But I'm going to show you what I did. We don't have these running yet, so we'll just keep these. Let me color code that so you can see it. If I can get the right color. Dude, I'm colorblind for real. It's something that happened to me, so that's probably not the right color. Laugh it up. So yeah, I'm just going to hit play on these. So you should be able to hear these tracks. They're going to be zeroed out. And as I bring them up, we'll bring them in context with everything else that's playing. But I want you to be able to hear them. So here we go. So let's go over to the SSL. Okay, we have one playing, and that's the one through the Fusion. This is without the Fusion. And without the clipper. Here's with the harmonic drive. Fusion bypassed. on. So we'll start there. Now we'll bring these in. So we're gonna just get a mix. It's just the EQ on it. And really a broad EQ, that's all it is. Oh, we need some high end. I already put it in. You see it? Top, we're gonna give it a little more line amp. That's all right. All right. Oh, okay, we got those too. Let's do this one more. Is that it? I think that's it. Let's add it in context, start mixing it in. That's dope. All right, let's go back to the original prep now. So let's go back to the original. You didn't even hear those stems. Like, this is just me prepping the mix, guys. Like, this is what this video is about. So what I'll do, here, let's listen real quick. Let's go back. So much better, dude. So this isn't even mixed yet. This is just me getting the right gain stage using line level. Real quick note. When I do this, the line level, I have a Neve 1073 pair. We have another pair of SSL channels. We have a EQ with a line amplifier. That's why I was really pumped about that piece. It's called the Ultraviolet. Check it out. Have two Portico channels that we didn't use on this video. So usually in a mix, it like in a prep, like I call it like a pre-mix, because I just want to get everything right and just focus on getting the most out of the sound. That's how I work. And then I can get in and be creative with effects and time-based and compression to control time and stuff like that. So if you look on screen here, all you're seeing at the top of the channels are inserts. So let me explain what an insert is real quick for guys out there that are new to this. So an insert is if you have a converter and you have 8 out and 8 in. Usually outputs 1 and 2 are dedicated to like monitors and stuff, so you sort of have like a 1 and 2 that's you can't do an insert with. So you can usually, now interface designers are putting monitor out, and then you have corresponding ins and outs. The way to make like a hardware insert in Pro Tools, if you look on screen here, let me do this real quick, it might be easier. So if I go to my IO settings, and you're going to see insert tab. So all an insert is it's literally a loop on 1 and 2. So that's out and in of 1 and 2. So this, when I add that insert SSL 3 and 4, it's going out 3 and 4 of the SSL and directly back in. Okay, what's cool about interfaces like the SSL, they're already routed for you. So there's no hard wiring to make that happen. That is literally doing that on its own. There's no patch bay, no hard wiring. I don't have to route things. I don't have to tell this converter to do that. Now, with a converter, like I have a Blackline EXP I did a video on, it has 8 output and it has 8 input. What happens is, like, for example, on my 1073 pre-line amp, I can go out of the Blackline, let's say 1 and 2. It feeds the input of the 1073. Then out of the 1073 returns to the input of the Blackline. So it's out, in, out, in. That's how you do it. You create a loop with the piece of hardware. Then whatever channel you set it up to, it's going to go to the corresponding channel within your inserts. So in my case, I have with the interfaces and stuff, I have over 40 something channels to do that with. And that includes some of them that are being used for like Atmos and things like that. But yeah, that's how you do it. And then you're ready to roll. So if you have an interface with multiple, that's how it works. Um, Let me show you this real quick before we print. I'm going to talk about printing. So this is my pre. Let me mute that one. That one's buzzing because of the drive we have going on. So with this all being said, so what I do in a mix is this is one way to do this. You can create inserts across the whole mix, and then on the actually on the board, let me show you this. So on the board, I am just monitoring back the output 15 and 16. So right here, you'll see this section right here. That's output 15 and 16 on the board, and you can see the little USB sign beside it. Up top, you can tell it. So this is how I route mine. So this is the Pure 2 that I have, which is a mastering converter, and this is the Amari. When I kick this in, then it's using its USB return. So I have three different sources to print from. Right now, if you look at my session, my output is literally coming back from the SSL. So output 15 and 16. Once you understand it, it's not that confusing. So all we want to do is monitor. This is my monitor section. So I want to monitor the return of 15 and 16. Actually, what's cool about this board is this button here. I am sending that monitor to the stream that you guys are listening to, which is really cool. So we'll get into that board in a little bit. But all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these outputs. And how do you do this in Pro Tools? This is really simple, and we'll sort of stop the video here and then pick up on the next one. But all I'm going to do is now I have these blended in the gain stage right, and I got everything the way I want. On some of these, I'll do more EQ. I'll use the porticos. I'll use this. It just depends, but I wanted to do it quick just to give you the principle of how this works. So now these tracks of this color, and if that one's a little off, it sure seems like it to me. All we're going to do is highlight the tracks. I'm going to hit Shift Option on my keyboard, and then I'm going to go to the lowest plugin within the chain of all these. And then I'm just going to hit Commit up to this insert. What's going to happen then is this window is going to come up, and then you're going to consolidate these. Now you don't have to do this if you're like afraid you're doing something too much, but I really found out that amplification and gain stage and things like that, these are things that you normally aren't going to go back on unless like, and you have to be better at it. Like I would say sounds you're trying to really get like a sound out of. I wouldn't classify this necessarily mixing. This is just getting the sounds ready to mix. So we're using line amp, we're using basic EQ and in control of that EQ, and then we're using, you know, on certain hardware that I have, it has compression. Like the first four channels of the SSL, let me show you real quick. These have compressors built in, and they also have inserts, which I'm not using in the video. We'll do another video on that. But yeah, so I can incorporate the, you know, the two-way, I can incorporate the distressor. I can do that, and I'm confident in what I'm hearing. And here's the cool thing about committing in Pro Tools. Number one, it opens up my hardware for more tracks. But number two, if you look here, the source track is just going to be hidden and made inactive. Okay, so what I mean by that is the source track is still there. So if I did this mix and he says, "Man, I really don't like the piano. It sounds, you know, shrill, or it was a lot darker and I don't know what you did to it." It's like, "No problem, dude. Let's go back to the original." So that's how I work because we work in a day and age where you need that recall. So yeah, this was just a basic stem session with an SSL Big Six. Like I said in some earlier videos, they cut down on the they cut down on the functionality, not the quality. When you run stems through that with those amplifiers, it takes on a whole new life. And I'm not saying it doesn't take some some ability. It doesn't take understanding, gain stage and things like that. There's definitely the engineer with it too. But yeah, it can get you to a place where you're having fun mixing and the results are great. So, my name's Doug Jenkins. This was just a video showing you real quick how to consolidate, how to create an insert, and then how to really make some awesome mixes. So, hopefully this helps, and we'll see you next time. Peace.